Alchemy of Souls Season 2 Episode 4 ending had most of us giddy with excitement as we can hardly wait for the next episode. The new season of Alchemy of Souls has been incredible so far, and watching it unravel each weekend is exciting. In Episode 4, we saw what we could call the storm before the calm in Jang Wook and Naksu's relationship. We saw the resurrection of the name Naksu by Jin-moo, Jang Wook finally letting Mudeok go, and Seo-yeol letting himself die slowly by the bloodworm. There was a lot to digest in this episode. Today, I'm going to talk about Jang Wook finally letting Mudeok, who we know is Naksu, go. Make sure to stick to the end. You might learn something you missed in the episode. But first, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell to be among the first to see our content. Since this new season will have only 10 episodes, the season seems to be fast-paced. In Episode 4, we witnessed what could be considered a turbulent time for Jang Wook as he finally opened his heart to letting Mudeok go. We also found out why he built a stone tower for Mudeok and why he hadn't mourned her. The episode also made us fearful for Seo-yeol, which I will discuss later, so stay tuned to this channel. At the beginning of the last episode, Jang Wook had a huge fallout with Naksu because she had used the Yin-Yang Jade to call him to Mudeok's stone tower. If you recall, Park Jin had insinuated in one of the previous episodes that Jang Wook built the stone tower for Mudeok because he still nurtures the hope that she would return to him. This is why he has not mourned Mudeok's death for the past 3 years. He had refused to visit the hill over Lake Jang-Uk, which marks the site for Mudeok's demise. This can be understood as part of why he hasn't healed all these years because he has no closure with her death. He admitted to maidservant Kim in Episode 3 that he kept the red bird's eyes because he didn't witness Mudeok's death with his eyes. Remember, we learned from Park Jin in Episode 3 that Sang-ho of Sungrim was the one that witnessed Mudeok's death. Many didn't witness it, and certainly not Jang Wook, as he rose from the dead as she was drowning in Lake Jang-Uk. This could be the reason people still fear her return. He explained that the jade is the only way he could believe she would never return. However, later in the episode, we see him visit the site of Mudeok's death. We saw him stand on the spot where Mudeok had stood before diving into Lake Jang-Uk. The spot where she had lamented her end in the last season. He stood on the hill overlooking the lake with strong emotions showing on his face. This means he is finally ready to face and accept her death and stop pining for her. It took him 3 years to finally do this, which was extremely hard for him, as we discovered later. Visiting her death site means accepting she's dead and not returning to him. And accepting this must have felt like relieving her death again. He did this because of Park Jin's advice in the previous episode. He advised him to visit Mudeok's death site and mourn her. That after doing so, if he still feels like dying, he should return to him, that he would make him a meal. This means he would accept his decision to die. Maybe, he also made the decision because of his growing fondness for Boo-yeon, who we all know is Naksu. He visited this site after killing a Naksu impersonator in order to protect his current wife, Boo-yeon. So we can assume that his decision resulted from a chain reaction. Jin-moo forced his hand by resurrecting the name Naksu. Then the king gave him an imperial order to kill Naksu. He found out about Jin-moo's plan to kill Boo-yeon and formed a plan with Park Jin to save her, thereby killing the Naksu impersonator. All these were catalysts that brought him here. In the official poster for this season, Jang Wook was quoted as saying, "In my deep darkness, you are the only one shining." This means his healing started when he encountered Boo-yeon. We can say she barged into his life with no breaks and gradually lit the dark corners of his charred heart. His growing fondness for her catalyzes his healing and moving on from Mudeok. This wasn't easy for him, as we can see at the end of Episode 4. He had to solicit the use of strong alcohol not only because of the wraiths, as he had used Naksu's sword early, but also to help as he battles with the memories of Mudeok. He tried to drown his pain with liquor. This night was very difficult for him because he visited the site of Mudeok's death. We can assume this means that he finally opened his heart to mourning her, which made the memories of Mudeok flood his mind, making it difficult to bear. Then Naksu, who had been worried about him, appeared in his room to check on him. Her presence comforted Jang Wook as he thought she was Mudeok. He finally admitted to holding back his tears after hearing of Mudeok's death. He didn't mourn or visit her death site because it felt like he was abandoning her there. He said this, thinking that Bu-yeon was Mudeok as he was intoxicated at this time. Bu-yeon comforted him even though she knew he was seeing Naksu and not her. Thinking she was Mudeok allowed him to tell her all he had wanted to say to Mudeok. Jang Wook finally let the tears flow as Naksu hugs him tightly. She held and comforted him as they lay down. In the last scene, we can see Jang Wook awake to Naksu's touch on his face. He then reached for her, and they shared a kiss. Here, we can assume that he knows she's his wife, Bu-yeon, and not Mudeok because his eyes seem clear as he reaches for her. But we don't know what the next episode will bring. It might be that he thought she was Naksu and kissed her out of his drunkenness. Or it could be that he finally opened his heart to her after finding comfort in her arms. This could mark new beginnings in their relationship as he finally lets Mudeok go. In the preview of Alchemy of Souls Light and Shadow's upcoming episode 5, we could see Naksu happily walking through the market. And Jang Wook, checking her temperature in concern. This was the morning after they both shared a kiss at the end of the last episode. This means we might be in for a new relationship status between Jang Wook and Naksu. And as we know, Jang Wook loves with all his heart. So it's safe to assume he will devote all his love to Bu-yeon from henceforth, that he has finally made peace with the ghost of the past. This could mean we are about to see a lovey-dovey Jang Wook and Naksu in the next episode. But we can't assume that it would be that easy. As we know, they will have to overcome outside interference from Ho Kyung and Jin Moo. But whatever the case or interference so far, the bond between Jang Wook and Naksu seems to grow tight each day. It's only a matter of time before they fall deeply in love, and all hell will break loose. This is because Naksu seems to recall little details of her past as the day passes. Although she thinks they are Mudeoks, it's only a matter of time before she regains it all. We can only speculate how Jang Wook will feel upon discovering Bu-yeon is Naksu. Hopefully, he will be elated. We hope it doesn't take him down a spiral path realizing she is Naksu after letting her go. Also, in the preview, we can see Naksu holding Jang Wook's hand as she tells him, "I shall always stay by your side at this distance. That is my promise." Just as Jang Wook was the one that made promises to Mudeok in the last season, Naksu is the one making them to him this season as Jang Wook is already charred by love. We can see Jang Wook look at her emotionally as the preview ends. Finally, we can see both Jang Wook and Naksu finding their way back to each other and Jang Wook opening his heart again after letting go of Mudeok. What do you think will happen when Jang Wook discovers that Bu-yeon is Naksu? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and turn on your notification bell to be among the first to see our content. Thanks for watching, bye.